Hi everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a while and there's just been so much that's been going on. So much and then so little at the same time. Today I really wanted to make this video, because there's very important things happening now in our ascension. And I want to talk to you about what that is, just through a personal example. Hopefully some of you can relate to this. And I'm really sorry about if you hear any noise in the background. These days this construction going on around here is just a little bit intense. There's like at least 3 or 4 different sites where it's happening. So no matter what time of the day I show up here, there's always some noise. I have the choice to either not film at all or do it this way, which is another reason you haven't seen me so active recently. And it's been a point of frustration and just as I say that, there's a truck pulling up. But it's been a point of frustration for me over the past, a couple of weeks. And so that is sort of related to what's been happening as well, There's just so many frustrations that have been building up. Like it almost feels like I'm in a box in different ways, just from where I live, because the pollution has been increasing in the past few weeks. Then this construction noise is getting intense, and there's just so many things, that I would do differently. And so all of that frustration was building up, and I had these moments where I was crying even, and stuff was going on, and I was just feeling like, why do I need to be here, in these situations? It just feels like because a master can sort of, no matter what situation you're given, you can turn it around. But that doesn't mean that we don't get to choose, that we shouldn't choose something that feels like freedom to us, So it's like if you are given just a very limited space, you'll create your own space within that. You'll create that box, within that box you'll create whatever it is, that freedom that you are capable of as a master. And then it gets even more restricted, and you'll find a way to beautify that space even. But at the same time, you deserve to have like that original space that you imagine, that you want. So that is when the frustration comes in, when the free will of the human, it feels like I have this free will, why am I not able to exert my free will? And Mars right now is retrograde, so Mars has to do directly with free will. And I'm ruled by Mars. I'm an Aries moon. Also I have like a stellium in Scorpio, for those of you who know astrology. So basically what's been happening is that we've been feeling this frustration, but what it's giving way to is this really beautiful thing. Those moments when you break down and you're like, why don't I have more control over this? Or why don't I deserve, an environment that is pure, that has clean air and all of that, more freedom, more space, less city-like, less noise and all of that. And it just feels like, we have, for example, here, all of those things that are negative, that relate to the lockdown. For example, many things are closed, and there's more restrictions, like with public transport and all of that. But at the same time, there's enough people getting out that there's pollution. So it really, over the past few weeks, it's felt very, like claustrophobic to me. And these beautiful things started happening the second that I let go, because we have that moment where we say, to the forces that be, to God, to source, to the I am within, whatever you want to call it. But we sort of throw up our hands and we're like, there's this point where you're angry first perhaps, and then there's this point where you just throw your hands up and you're like, what is it? What's the answer? I let go, I trust you, and I leave it. I'm just open. That's it, show me what is it in the now that I need to do, or what is it, where is my path now, basically. When it comes down to it, that is what surrender feels like. So that's what I did. I just one day, had enough of it, and I cried. So crying is really good because it brings out like those deepest, like often when we cry, it's that your lungs are involved. It feels like you're going deeper, and it's like this pain coming out from like your depths. And that is because at an energetic level, that's what you're doing. You're pulling it out from the depths, and it's allowing flow to that frustration, to that whatever it is. And often in that flow, what happens is that we put our request out there, or we put that desire of ours. What is the deep desire behind all of these frustrations? So okay, on the surface, I know I'm frustrated with the noise, I'm frustrated with the pollution, all of that. But what is that deep desire lying behind all of that? So that comes through sometimes when we cry or we release in other ways. It finds a flow and it finds a voice, almost like. And sometimes when it's too restricted, then that is the best situation we can be in for a complete turnaround, for those bigger life changes. Because it's like you are cornered almost, it feels like, inside of yourself. But at the same time, at that point you fully surrender. You say, okay, it feels like I have zero control over this now. I was able to manipulate my way here and there, like change things here and there, make them comfortable, sort of compromise or adjust here and there. Not compromise, we're never really compromising as such, but it's like an adjustment that you can make. But times when it feels like you're not even able to do that very well, usually it means that your purpose there has ended, or something has shifted in the way you were doing things, in the way that you expect things. So at that point, we fully let go and we just surrender. And this is what I found myself doing. I didn't even do it voluntarily. It just happened. It was more like just like, okay, I give up. I'm fully open. I'm an empty vessel, and fill me in with purpose. Yeah, that's it. That's all I did. And right after that, suddenly this came through that I started watching. I was on YouTube and I clicked on a video. It showed up, and it was talking about how. So basically, in the month of November, we have this festival called Diwali in India, where people burn firecrackers and all of that, and it just gets really intense because the pollution here is already very bad. And then during Diwali, even though the government is taking measures and it's become better over the years, but it's still, for somebody like me, it's just too much. And if you read the readings, like they touch those levels where it can't even read, that scale that they have for the particles, like it just goes much beyond. And so it's a really, really high level of pollution, especially during Diwali time, a few days after, until a few days after it lasts. So I have been planning to get out of Delhi, especially because I haven't been in Delhi during Diwali. Last year I also managed to avoid it. I was in the mountains, I was teaching there, my job was there. I deliberately took a job there. But now this year I've been here, and luckily I have holidays, so I won't need to take as many. But I was planning that, and I was planning about where I'll go in the mountains and stuff. And this a video popped up on my YouTube because I was searching for something. And this person was speaking about how they're living in the mountains and they are working from there. So they're not quitting their job like many people. They quit their job and they move to the mountains because they've had enough of city life. This person was speaking about how they are working from the mountains. And I just that struck something within me. I had that idea before, but it hadn't fully grounded, or I didn't think it was practical. In India, in the mountains, there's a lot of things, because we're sort of a developing country. So the water can freeze, and sometimes there's no tap water, there's no electricity for days sometimes. So you have no internet or you have no water, and that can cause a lot of problems, like no heating, and there's it's very, very cold in the mountains as well. And our country is not centrally heated like a lot of the developed countries. So there can be a lot of that that happens. So I just had this in my head that it's difficult. Life is difficult in the mountains. It's not practical for me to move there alone or whatever. But I have been planning this vacation because I have to get out of here because I can't breathe during Diwali. So that popped up, and it just gave me more practical ideas. She was sharing where in the mountains I could go. And even the prices, at least that she is quoting, seem to be more reasonable than I thought, So that was another thing in my head, that is going to be too expensive. I have to go somewhere, then I have to buy certain things. So at least for a few months, for 1 month or whatever, I'm planning to move to the mountains, because right now I'm teaching remotely. I'm a teacher, and I teach my kids online, so I could do that from anywhere basically. But I just need to make sure that the internet will be stable, and with all of the electricity and all of these conditions. This blogger that I was watching they seem to be saying that it's fine, like there's a way of working that out. So I do have to do more research, but I can feel that energy. The second that it landed, everything shifted for me, that I had been feeling this frustration for the past few weeks. And it's really a culmination of a frustration that I've been feeling for quite a while now, for years really. And that has to do with, like, in astrology, like Saturn moving through. Saturn is the planet that rules restrictions, but again it shows us where the greatest restrictions are, and when you see it for what it is, you move into a new space. So it's like mastering mastering physicality, basically, and that's exactly what is happening. So for a while now I've wanted my own space and I had that last year, but at the same time there were other problems there. Then I came back here and I don't have those same problems, but there's certain restrictions that come with this city life and stuff. And so, basically, and along with a lot of other things also personally that I've been feeling, all of that sort of just culminated into this one thing, this one idea that suddenly came to me that seemed to be the solution of it all, basically. So, and Spirit had been whispering that that we're going to show you what the solution is, and it's right here. But of course, we don't believe that until it happens, especially when we're in that moment of frustration. But I just wanted to share this video with you. I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Maybe I won't end up going there for a whole month, but it's definitely leading to a larger life path for me, because I've always wanted to, especially while I live in India, I want to live in the mountains, because the cities here are the city life is, at least like the city I come from, New Delhi, is quite insane, and generally the pollution levels tend to be very, very high in any city really, but this is the highest here in my birth city. So this was never part of my permanent plan to live here forever anyway. So I'm just going to be moving, until I can, because whenever my school starts, I do have to show up again. So I will have to come back and stuff. So everything is up in the air at the moment, but just this one idea, even if it in its basic nature came through and changed everything for me. And this is how manifestation also works. We can teach steps. I do teach manifestation on my second channel, and we can teach steps. They are helpful, of course, because that helps us to focus. So for example, if my focus is to not be here, to move away from city life or whatever, I can do some research that really lands me in the more physical, practical side of it, and it brings about new energy there. But at the same time, at a certain point, the highest reality lands for us, this reality that is not based in time, that sort of culminates, brings together all of the timelines together, your past, what you want for your future, and where you are now. Really, it's all about the now. When we fully are sitting in the now, time sort of collapses, and that one thing that aligns with your deepest desire just comes through like this, face to face. It's like an exact reflection. So this is what's happening now, and manifestation, the final step anyway, even when we teach manifestation through steps, like number one, let's say you focus, you find out what your inner desire is, and then you fully open up to that. Let's say you start taking some inspired actions, you're naturally flowing through some actions that are related to it, and you visualize it, and all of those things, they all work. But at the same time, the highest way to manifest, and the last step that happens when we are, let's say we're especially disempowered in manifesting something, we feel that we're not worthy and all of that. Those steps can be helpful. But the final step always is just to surrender and let go, because there's a larger plan always there that your own soul has laid out. So life, God, whatever you want to call it, has not put anything upon you. It's actually you, before you incarnated, you laid out what is the best plan for you, for your purpose, for your service here on this planet. And so that you come face to face with that, basically, and that is when it feels like God is taking over, source is taking over, or the divine will is taking over, and those moments are happening for us now. So my advice to you would be to just let go. If you're feeling this sense of frustration, just breathe, let go, and say, I am an open vessel. I am open to my highest reality. You can put your hand on your heart. You can say, what my desire is. I am in touch with my desire now. I am face to face with my desire now. And make sure that you are. Find clarity. If there's frustration, go within and find clarity as to what exactly is my desire at the core level. And when you touch that, then you surrender and let go, and ask the powers that be, the forces of white light, the forces of your spirit guides and your own soul, your I am presence, to basically bring it to you, your own highest reality to you that is aligned with that desire. And that's it. It can be something very simple, like a short prayer that you do. And you can do it now, because yesterday we just had the Libra new moon, and it's a very potent one, with some comets and all aligning. So it's a good time to do that as well. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you're going through this, what you guys have been going through. I'm sorry I haven't been that active lately. And it was my birthday last week. I think it was last week now. And I'd announced that there's a sale, but I didn't get a chance to make more videos because, again, so much was going on. So I'm going to extend the sale to one more week. So you have that sale on 50% off on all of my services. You can find all the links below this video. So all of my services as well as my online courses. So it's a really good chance, because I don't offer things for a whole 50% off. So this is because it's my birthday, or my birthday month. So please check it out below this video. And subscribe if you're new here. Give this video a thumbs up if you got some wisdom today. Please let me know your thoughts, what's going on in your life. I would love to hear that. And thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.